Competition. Man, it's everywhere, right? From the playground all the way to the office. And for our kids, it can either be this incredible engine for growth or a huge source of stress. So how do we tip the scales toward growth? Let's dive in and really unpack how to foster competition that's genuinely healthy. And that quote really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? We're talking about turning competition into the fuel that drives a kid's passion, not the fire that just burns them out. That idea is going to be our guide through this whole explainer. We have to talk about why this is so critical right now. We've all seen those heartbreaking stories in the news. Young people just struggling under so much pressure. This isn't just some abstract idea. It has very real, very serious consequences. That's exactly why learning how to handle it thoughtfully is more important than ever. All right, so let's start by pulling apart the two very different faces of competition. Because really, understanding this difference is the first big step toward building a much healthier approach for our kids. And you can see the difference right here, clear as day. On one side, you've got this win-at-all-costs mindset. And what does that lead to? Usually anxiety, burnout, and feeling worthless if you don't come in first. But then you look at the other side, and the focus is all about personal growth. The outcome there? Well, it's motivation, resilience, and real, lasting confidence. It's just a massive shift in perspective. Okay, so let's get right to it. What is healthy competition really? What does it actually look like? Let's break it down. The keywords here are growth-focused and supportive environment. It's all about creating a space where the goal isn't just to be the fastest kid on the team, but to beat your own personal best time from last week. The measuring stick is internal, not external. That's the whole game. So that definition really boils down to these 4 pillars. We're talking about focusing on personal bests, yeah, but also about learning good sportsmanship and how to be happy for a teammate. It's about bouncing back when you lose and learning how to handle those big feelings, the excitement of a win and the sting of a loss. I mean, these are life skills, not just game skills. And here's the really great part. When we get this right, the positive ripple effect is just enormous. And this isn't just a hunch, it's totally backed by research. Yeah. Decades of child psychology research show this over and over. Kids who are involved in healthy, structured competition, especially stuff like team sports, tend to have higher self-esteem and better emotional stability. They learn how to set a goal and stick with it. Obviously, it gets them moving. And maybe most importantly, they learn how to celebrate their friends' successes, which is a massive boost for empathy. But, and this is a big but, there's a tipping point. The research is just as clear that when there's way too much pressure to win, all those amazing benefits get flipped on their head. That's what leads directly to anxiety and burnout. So balance is everything. That constant support and encouragement from us, those are the guardrails that keep competition on the healthy track. So we get the what and the why. Now for the most important part, the how. This is your practical playbook, real things you can start doing today. These 4 steps right here are absolute game changers. First, reframe what success looks like. So instead of just, hey, you won, try something like, I loved watching how hard you worked for that goal. Second, really foster that growth mindset. Remind them that a tough practice is exactly how you get stronger. Third, make it safe to talk about feelings. Let them know it's okay to say, man, I'm so frustrated I missed that shot. And last but not least, be the role model. Let them see you lose a board game and gracefully congratulate the winner. They see everything. Okay, so knowing what to do is half the battle. The other half is knowing when to worry. Let's talk about the red flags that tell you a child's relationship with competition might be turning sour. And that really is the million-dollar question, isn't it? How do you actually tell when that healthy drive has crossed a line and become something damaging? Well, there are some pretty clear signs you can watch for. Let's really sit with these for a second, because they're important. An extreme fear of losing. That isn't just pre-game jitters. We're talking about a crippling anxiety about making any mistake at all. And listen for that negative self-talk. If you hear your kid constantly saying things like, I'm just terrible at this, or I'm the worst one on the team, that's a huge sign. Also watch for withdrawal. If a kid who used to love soccer suddenly wants to quit after one bad game, something deeper is probably going on. And finally, that obsession with being number one, where the fun is just completely gone, that's a problem. Seeing these signs can be scary, for sure, but it's really your cue to step in and help your child get back to focusing on growth and just having fun. At the end of the day, the trophy's gonna gather dust on a shelf. But resilience, empathy, the ability to work with other people, those are the real prizes. Those are the skills that are going to support your child's well-being for their entire life. So I'll just leave you with this question to think about. How can we, as parents, as coaches, as teachers, help shift the spotlight? How can we make sure we celebrate the courage it takes just to try, the grit it takes to keep going, and all the learning that happens along the way? Because that is the real victory.